Hi everyone, my name is Nancy. I am the exercise physiologist in the Zakim Center for Integrative Therapies and Healthy Living at Dana-Farber. And right now we're going to be doing a full body strength circuit together. So we're going to do 6 exercises. Things you may or may not need is some weight for this. You could potentially have a range, something on the lighter side like 1 to 3. And then potentially something a little bit heavier, 5, 8, 10, maybe higher, depending on how you're feeling today. A chair, and potentially we're gonna be on all 4s for our very last exercise. So potentially like a knee pad or towel or something for your knees. So let's go ahead and get ourselves warmed up. So the goal of this total body workout that you can get done 15-ish minutes. So I'm gonna keep the warm up on the briefer side. And if you feel like you need a longer workout or warm up, you can go ahead and do that. So let's march for 3, 2, 1. And now we're gonna tap and we're gonna reach. So you're gonna reach, a couple times overhead. Then you're gonna reach a couple across, and you'll notice I'm doing like a little pause. So I'm trying to think about my shoulder blade, and I'm trying to move it away from center spine. And then I'm gonna reach down a couple of times. So we wanna get your shoulder blades ready so that once we have weights in our hands and we start moving more, that those shoulders are ready. And then we'll go through them each a couple more times. So overhead. And then sometimes if there's one of these that just feels, I tend to call it a little sticky, things like that, you stay with it. Otherwise you can just, kind of cycle through 2 more this way. And then we'll do 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll march again. We'll take a deep breath in, so reach up now that those shoulders are nice and warmed. We'll exhale out. Okay. Hopefully you feel the blood flowing a little bit there. We're gonna start with a squat with a tap. So I'm gonna hold a weight. You don't have to do that. This will be plenty of work without a weight, but if you're looking for a little more of a challenge, I tend to like to hold one weight, and I'm gonna hold it in pretty close to my body. So I'm gonna go ahead and come down into like a mini squat. I'm gonna shift my weight here into my left leg, and then I'm gonna be tapping my right leg. So I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna tap out, and back. So we're gonna do these for a minute. So you're holding isometrically a little squat here with one leg, and then you're coming out and tapping. But you'll notice I'm tapping. I'm not putting any weight into that leg. I think of like testing the bath water. So it's very gentle. You could also hover. That's gonna be a little bit harder. If balance is more challenged, you could potentially slide your leg back and forth. So you have options there. So hopefully about now you're feeling front of the standing leg. But what you might be noticing is that you're feeling the hip, but you're actually feeling this hip, where it feels like you're certainly feeling this one too, but this one is stabilizing you. So that is normal. We'll do 2 more. We'll come out, and back, and 1 more, out, and back. And then we'll stand up, and then guess what? We're gonna do the other side. So now we mini squat with the right leg, and we go ahead and start tap, and back. So we wanna make sure, again, we're not sending any weight as we go out, but we're also not putting all of our weight back into this leg as it comes down. So your weight is staying centered over, in this case, my right leg. So again, you could hover the entire time and never actually put this foot down. Or again, at any point you need the stability, you're just tapping, essentially like your big toe. It's getting a little bit of stability that way. And at any point this squat becomes too much, You can certainly stand up taller and do this, or if these feel easy, you could really up the ante and come on down into a deeper squat and really feel, again, front and sides. Let's do 2 more out and in, 1 more out and in. Okay, great work. Fronts of both legs and hopefully hips, both sides is where you're feeling that now, I hope, because I know I am. So I always like to kind of now give the lower body a little break and let's work upper body. So you're gonna grab 2 weights, potentially. I'm gonna encourage you to go on the light side, trust me, here, because we are gonna be going overhead and you're working shoulders. So we're gonna start, I call these, we're making the letter Y or the YMCA, beginning of that. So feet are hip distance apart, palms face your body. And you're gonna go ahead and start to come up and you'll notice I'm gonna get wider. And here I am in my letter Y. And then I'm gonna come down and I get a bit narrower. So as you see me from the side, as I get to about shoulder height, I'm starting to get wider. And then I come overhead and then slowly back down. So I'm trying to have this movement just be in my arms, meaning I'm not arching my back, I'm not flaring through my rib cage to get my arms up. Now, your arms may have a different range of motion, maybe even one of them can't go overhead right now. That's fine, you just hold one still. So say, for example, my right arm needs to stop at shoulder height, but I let my left arm go overhead. You are welcome to do that. Let's do 1 more. We come all the way up, a little squeeze of the shoulder blades together, and then we come on back down. Okay, so just these 2 exercises, we got a lot of our major muscle groups covered. So I always like to include a balance exercise when we are exercising together. It is such an important component of our overall fitness routine. So I'm gonna grab a chair. You are welcome to use a wall, countertop for these. So hands are somewhere secure. We're gonna do a 1-legged calf raise. So I'm gonna bring the weight into my right leg. I'm just gonna bring my left leg. It could be back here, it could be behind, whatever feels best. From here, I'm gonna come up onto my right foot. I'm gonna start my timer, and then I'm gonna go down. And I'm gonna go up. And down. Now these are challenging. So at any point, if you feel like doing this one at a time gets to be too much, you just go ahead and put that other leg down and you keep going. So we are trying our best to keep ourselves moving straight up and straight down. So potentially when your hands are in front of you, there's a tendency to lean into the chair, the counter, the wall. You want to think about that string from the top of your head pulling you up and down. Then you want to think about your big toe. And you want to make sure every time you come up that you haven't rolled off your big toe towards your pinky toe. Let's do 1 more up and down, okay? So hopefully you felt the back of that leg. Now we get to do the other side. So shift your weight into your left leg, and here we go. Come up onto the toe, and back down. So the big toe can sometimes be hard. If there's neuropathy and you have a hard time feeling your feet, that's going to be challenging. If you have a bunion, if you have plantar fasciitis and some other foot issues, it may be hard to press through your big toe. So do your best. And sometimes, if it's safe and comfortable for you, you might want to try doing this like in socks, where you could actually really see your foot and make sure that you are pushing through that big toe. But it is very important that we maintain that range of motion in your toe so that we can keep walking quickly. That's a big piece of your ability to, one more here, to have a, quicker walking speed. All right, so hopefully the back of both of those legs, those calf muscles are feeling the burn. And we are gonna do a little bicep curl here. We haven't quite worked that muscle group yet. So we'll grab 2 weights again, possibly a little bit heavier than what you grabbed for that YMCA exercise. So we're gonna go ahead and do a hammer curl. So I'm gonna stand, and hammer curl just means palms face each other for our bicep curl. So we're gonna curl up, and then we're gonna come on back down. So again, traditionally, a lot of times our palms are up for biceps. Today, they are facing each other. And you may notice that you feel it a little bit more in your forearm with this version. So we're getting a little multitasking today, which is always a bonus. And what you'll notice here is that I am just gently from the side here pressing my elbows into my body. Because often there is a tendency for your elbows to sneak forward. So we want to keep them in line. So sometimes just a little bit of gentle pressure will help keep them from sneaking forward, because then we grab a little shoulder. So here we're trying to just keep this as really a bicep and forearm. One more time, we come all the way as high as we can, and then we come down nice and slow. Okay, so those were our 4 standing exercises. We're gonna go ahead and transition to the floor. We're gonna do another chest and back exercise, and we're gonna do a core exercise to round us out. Okay, so now that we're on the floor, you are potentially going to want maybe a little bit of height for under your head. It doesn't need to be much, just a little bit of height here. I often find that to be quite helpful. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay down on my back. I've got my weight here beside me. So I've got my head supported. I've got both knees bent and both feet flat. Now you're going to carefully grab your weight. You're gonna be holding on to the ends of your weight. You're gonna start with the weight over, about over your chest. And from here, you are gonna go ahead and extend your arms over your head. And then you're gonna exhale and bring them back over your chest. So you're going to inhale overhead. And you'll notice I am not going all the way to the floor. I'm gonna exhale back. I'm keeping my elbows nice and straight. But the reason that I'm stopping here is that if I go here, I create all this space here that I don't want to create. So I'm trying to keep my back and my shoulders and my rib cage down. So we will all have a different range of motion for this. Some of you may get closer to the floor, some of you may need to stop, even higher, or not go as far. This is our last one overhead. And back. Okay. So with that exercise, we got both your chest and your back. So we get a lot of kind of bang for our buck here. So now we're going to bring the knees into the chest. We're going to roll to our side. We're going to come up to seated. And now we are going to transition to being on all fours. So this is when you're going to want to grab your knee pads or a towel or a blanket. Okay, everyone, for our final exercise, we're going to be doing a bird dog. Now, many of you have possibly done this, but possibly not the way that I'm going to teach you today. This version, I'm going to encourage you to have your foot on a wall. Now, I know for everybody, you don't want to put your shoes on the wall. You may want to kick your shoes off for this, but you may find that it, kind of changes the experience of a bird dog exercise. So you're on all fours. You'll notice I have a little bit of padding here for myself. And then I'm going to bring my hands below my shoulders. And then I'm going to bring one foot onto the wall at hip height. So you may have to adjust your distance so that your leg is straight. So you don't want to be so close that your knee is bent. You want a nice straight foot, and you want to press into that foot. You want to feel that hamstring and that glute. Now, if you're really up for a challenge, you're going to grab a yoga block and you're going to balance it on your back. So from here, I'm pressing, this is my right leg, I'm pressing my right leg into the wall. I'm going to shift some weight into my right hand. I'm going to take my left hand. I'm going to reach over for my right shoulder. I'm going to hold 1,000, 2 1,000, and then I come back down. I reach over again, 1,000, 2 1,000, and down. What you'll notice, there's very little movement in my body. So this block, if I start to move around, I'm going to feel that block. I could up the ante. I could bring the block here and hold. But I'm looking for a very stable block on my back. I'm pressing the floor away, so you'll notice I've spread out my fingers, I have a straight elbow, and I'm gazing down between my hands. Last one, I reach over, I hold 2, 1, and then I'm gonna come down, take my block with me. Often wrists need a little stretch, we're often not weight bearing like that a lot during our day, so give those wrists a little love. And then we'll do the other side. So again, get your line up here so your heel is in line with your bum, really press in. Object if you want the challenge. We press the floor away. And now it's right hand reaches over for left shoulder. So you always want to make sure you're doing the opposite side. My left leg is up, so then it's my right hand that is crossing. You don't want to try to have your left leg up and then lift your left hand off the floor. It's theoretically possible, but it is very challenging. So again, I'm really pressing the floor away, and I'm trying to maintain as much stability as possible. You can hold for longer than 2 seconds. You could also reach forward, which is the more traditional way of doing a bird dog. But again, I'm really pressing into this wall. I'm feeling the hamstring. I'm feeling the glute. We're gonna do one more crossover, 1,000, 2 1,000, and carefully back up. So really with those, we're getting your whole core, we get a ton of upper body holding you up, and we get your glutes. So we get a lot of bang for our buck. So hopefully with those 6 exercises, you feel that all your major muscle groups got a good workout today. If you're feeling like you could do more, you could just go ahead and repeat this entire thing again and get an even longer workout. But honestly, that was enough for me. So thank you for joining me today, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thank you.